Hey guys, we're gonna do another breakover video, but this time using the gi. I uploaded one before this that was gi and no gi applicable, I feel like. I'm not relying on the gi. When I was teaching, I taught a class about this the other night, and what I went over is like, for me, you know, I competed in jiu-jitsu a lot, but for me, the gi is an opportunity, right? The analogy I gave is if I had to defend myself, and I'm definitely probably going to use your clothes, definitely probably, right? If it's available, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to rely on it, but it is something that I know how to use against you. It doesn't matter if it's in there or out here, okay? That's why I train gi and no gi. I've done the same, divided up the whole time I've been out on my own. The gym that I came from, we did no gi only, like the first year and a half plus I trained there, right? And then just added the gi, and I was like, more rolling, okay? So, you know, I like these techniques. I learned every technique I'm about to show at like white, blue belt level, right? And I've been doing them all the way through, you know, 3 years into black belt now, okay? So I'm gonna use the gi to get the sweep, right? So here, I'm gonna have like a half guard underhook. I could start with the knee shield, that's what we've been doing, right? But like, look, I'm gonna reach around. I wanna buck him forward a little bit, right here. And I'm gonna pass his sleeve, lean up if you can, between his legs, right here, okay? Now, it's gonna be very hard for him to whizzer on this. Let's set it up again. See if you can whizzer without falling on your face. That's the thing. I was doing this in class the other night, and the uke, this guy, not him personally on that one, but a different guy, was falling on his face. It's hard to whizzer on this, right? But maybe you had to whizzer when it started. That's another thing. If you come from here, and you punch it, right, like this, he can get it, but look, he's also kind of falling on his face a little bit, right? So it becomes, we talked about this before, I was like, hey, fall on your side instead of your face. They may fall on their face and then their side, just still be friends with them after the round if it's in the gym, okay? But there, look here. And yeah, he's still got his whizzer in there, but it's trash, it's garbage, we're not worried about it. Go ahead and cinch it up if you can. I'm not worried about it. Like, I have a torn labrum in the shoulder, I've been rehabbing for like months. Still not worried about it, okay? It's not deep enough to create pressure. So here, same thing we've been talking about. Pass. Now I like to keep this sleeve because it's irritating. Maybe turtle out of it. Yeah, still irritating. And I'm blocking you with my elbow, right? Try and turn into me. Yeah, still irritating, right? And I can use it to like lever. And at a certain point, I may let go, right? Maybe. I'm not gonna use you to submit you with it, so I will let it go at some point. So that's using the sleeve, okay? We got a few more. Now I just think it's cool. Like, this is stuff about jiu-jitsu that I fell in love with, right? This, and it's not the using his gi part. It's that there's so many ways to do the same technique, right? That's the cool part. Like, oh, you mean here, here, here? It's all the same? Yes. Essentially it is, right? That's why previous we were talking about breakover and rollover sweeps. It's two big ways to sweep people, right? So here, boom, like this. Start coming up, break him over. Same thing before, you keep this. Is just a handle, a way to create pressure. If I pull here and drive my shoulder down into him as I'm passing, he's not gonna find an easy turtle. He's not gonna find an easy turn in. Just turn in. Exactly. Then he's like, hey, get that shoulder off me, right? That's it. Everything is that, right? Like, I like to, when we teach pressure passing, it's like, that guy needs to be, or girl, needs to be like, please, sir, pass my guard, right? It needs to be like, okay, yeah, just go ahead and move on past there. We'll work on escaping while you do that. If you have it right, there is no escape. That's what's cool about these techniques. Here, we'll do the belt. This is a little more rude, right? Okay, so here, boom. Ooh, and it came off, right? Happens. I'm still gonna be able to use it though. But that's it. That's the thing. It's an opportunity like we were talking about before. It's still staying on for me to pressure. But belt's not always on. If the belt's off, this technique will be easier. The one we showed before, okay? Now, let's do one more. This one is gi, no gi. And I will do this a couple of different ways. I have a gi and no gi version of what I see as the same technique, okay? And we'll show both of them. I have a couple of videos on one of these, right? But essentially here, okay? I can achieve this same thing if I wrap his arm with his gi, and I'll show that in a moment. Okay, now we're talking about, in a breakover video we did about this creating pressure on his ribs, okay? We also talked about not wanting to keep both your hands trapped. This is a preference thing. I don't personally use this a lot. People who wrestle use it all the time. They will spot, sit up on your elbow, which I don't try to, I don't like sitting up on my elbow where people drive down into me. Is another thing, but I mean, that's just for this perspective. But if they ever see this situation, which I feel like jiu-jitsu guys do a lot, it's here, and it's breaking it down, right? And it's like, you're breaking, when I used to choke you, I'm like putting my shoulder pressure and breaking you over and driving you into that. Okay, so it doesn't feel good. So maybe you want to do that. I don't know, right? So, what about you know, we said his belt may have come off. You're trying to do the other one. Whoa, right? It came untied, even though we're like, it was tied. It came untied during the technique. That happens, right? That means this is available more, okay? So what I'm gonna try and do here is go around his elbow like this, right? And then I can break him over, okay? With that, I will do some like butterfly sweeps and stuff too. It's not always half guard, okay? So that's where we have that on some other videos, okay? And that's just, again, it's cool because whether we're doing gi or no gi, it's that there are options, there are variations, and some of them work this reason or that reason, or some of them work because it's you. It's your individuality. That's your technique. If it's not, maybe not mine. I've always looked at things differently since I've been coaching because it's definitely not about my techniques as much as it's about trying to find what techniques the students that train here or people that do jiu-jitsu, what works for them, right? And there are fundamentals, there's baselines, but there are also outliers, right? It's not all breakover and rollover sweeps. You might like Shaolin sweeps, right? It's just like that guy, he does this rollover style sweep, everybody calls it Shaolin sweep. It's not for me, it's for him all day long, right? I remember asking Bruno Bastos about it, and he's like, that's not really for me. He's a heavyweight though, right? But you see, I've seen that technique forever. So, you know, find your game in these variations. It's not about memorizing all of the techniques unless you're just like seeking that mastery or you're coaching and trying to get, you know, larger picture for your students. But again, look at them and be like, man, that's my A and B technique. That's always been a big thing I sought as a competitor or that I try and get for my students. It's like, look, what two things do you like doing from here? Because you're not going to retain all 50 of them on the spot, right? But you can retain like, oh, it's a breakover. I roll him over, don't want to get my arm trapped, whatever, right? Deduce it down to small little bullet points, little shorthand notes, right? It'll be more efficient for you. So that's using the gi for breakovers. Wrap, use the lapel between the legs, sleeve between the legs, belt between the legs, trap his arm here, arm trap, and just break him over. Lots of options, good stuff. Thanks.